Today, as we start the show, this one mic. We hail. And boom, throughout the stadium, there is a pause throughout the stadium as this man sounds like he just coughed up a lung. Just looking around, the Jumbotron shows and pans the cheerleaders, and as it goes down each cheerleader's face, each one breaks up into laughter, which at this particular time destroys half the stadium. The other half is still trying to figure out what the hell just happened. Does this guy need CPR or something? And at that particular time, I lost it. Devon dropped. Yes, today.
Dawg Talk Radio.
Start the show, this one mic.
Phoenix is another place. They got a great training staff. They were able to breathe life back into Shaq. And you can do that. People talk a lot about their training staff.
Dawg.
Yes, today, as we start the show, this one mic. Yes, today, as we start this show, this one mic. All right, we're good. We're in the building. We want to thank our sponsors for our podcast tonight, Bowman Medical Group. Bowman Medical Group, they provide you with holistic services. Please go check out bowmanmedicalgroup.com and just get a sense of what's happening. We want to thank Dr. PJ Bowman and his crew for being supportive of us here on RSG, and my boys from Mind Match Development Group, changing the way that we do development. Go check out mindmatchdevelopmentgroup.com and check out what they got going on. And Mind Match, thank them, and my man XL Lewis, who we'll have on at some point to talk about what they're doing with Mind Match Development. They've been riding with us, and we just want to continue to show them love. We got a really good show tonight. The heart of the show. It's the year of the dog. As the youngin' did, the youngin' brought us the term up in here, and so we're gonna spend some time in the heart of the show talking about them dogs. We want more dogs. It's 40 years of waiting. Herschel Walker is acting crazy right now, but we digress. We still gonna be down with them dogs no matter what. Before I do that though, I gotta bring in my homeboys, my peoples over here on the set, my co-host, and let them talk a little bit. What's up, Hammer? How you doing, Chi Towns?
Man, blessed the land of living.
Yes.
In the Shy.
Yes,
sir.
Yes.
Back home, I was in ATL for a couple weeks, chilling. But I'm back in the Shy, man.
Yes.
Back in my home, my second home's Atlanta, though. That's what's up. So.
Yeah, I'm back in the Midwest, my dang self. And got off the plane, and my toes was cold. I was like, can I get back to Maui? It was just, but it's warming up a little bit today, so I'm
soon, bro.
Ooh, I'm all right. Yeah, I'm about to get on back up. Yeah, I got my little trek back there. So Maui's like that second space for me. So I'm be out there hanging out there with Don, with the legendary coach over there. My man Big Don.
Nelson, yes, sir.
Yep. And
does not partaking though.
No, I'm not partaking. I can't do that. I'm still trying to get the legendary interview though. He can do whatever he want to do while we interview it. He can bring Snoop in if he want to, as long as he give me the interview. I'm cool with that. And we got the youngin, our up and coming. We own him because we know he's the future, and so we always push him. And he's doing more than holding his weight here, making things happen. How you doing, man? How's it going, Darnell Kirkland Jr.?
Man, I'm great. Y'all don't know how happy I was to see the Dogs finally break through on Monday. They've made me look bad on so many occasions, but I've always given them their respect, and usually they end up letting you down. They're on the can't trust list for a reason, but they pulled it out. They pulled it out Monday, and I was happy about it.
Yeah, they went to that Jay Rice seminar and got right. They went to that Jay Rice seminar and got right. So we're going to see if they're going to go on a run. And so I look forward to digging in deep to the show and, talking about what's going on with them dogs and what does it mean now that they got that championship under their belt. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, we got a lot here on the rundown, and so for those who are new, we'll open mic and talk about a few topics. We're gonna keep it a little bit more focused. We used to sometimes we'll go to our back page and try to throw a topic out, but we got some things we want to talk about here in the open session, and then we'll talk about them dogs, and then we'll bring it home and drop the mic and you'll try to leave you with a little something. We always like to try to leave you with something when we leave that you can that'll stick to your bones, and so when we drop the mic each of us will try to leave you with something until we see y'all again. And so we're gonna get into this open mic because there's a lot to talk about in the world of sports, and we don't want to mess up on that. So we're gonna start out a little bit and hit on a little bit of NBA basketball here to get started out here and there. This is something I added on. The Young has been executive producing, bringing a lot of good topics, but I did throw this one on. I didn't pay attention. I just looked at this tonight, even though they lost in New York, but just the job, that Jason Kidd's done in Denver and Denver and Dallas, and the way he's been. I got Denver. I was watching Jokic last night. Got the Jokic on my mind, but did in Dallas and just thinking about. We're talking about just players and programs you watch, and I was joking about Villanova, but I think in the same way, Darnell talks about Georgia basketball. I've always been a fan of Villanova. Was always like, man, they couldn't get over the top. And one of the guards I really love was Brunson and Jalen Brunson. His pops played in the league, and just the impact. You can see that Jason Kidd's had on his game. He's averaging 16 points a game this year. He's averaging 5.6 assists. He's shooting close to 50% from the field. But just, Jason, the work that he did with Giannis and kind of being in this situation in Dallas, I just wanted to say, get a sense of, you think about the Lakers, what's been your impression of, Jason Kidd and the work he's been doing, in Dallas and in this new iteration of Kidd. Hammer, why don't we start with you, and then we'll go to we'll go to Darnell.
I mean, Jason Kidd's always had a tremendous high IQ. I can tell you, I'm dating myself, but back about 30 years ago, I saw Jason Kidd play Cal, play Stanford. Dude had 10 assists at the half. Mm-hmm. They blew Stanford out the building, and just his basketball IQ was just above everyone else. Just how he just disintegrated us, played great defense, and I wasn't surprised as far as, I thought, I didn't think he'd go directly to coaching, but, my understanding, he killed the interview with Brooklyn, New Jersey, Brooklyn at the time. And, there was some shenanigans there where he went to Milwaukee, and then Milwaukee got into some spats with some players, and they dismissed him. And, I think that he, with his time with the Lakers, he learned kind of, he seems more subdued now. I think a lot of people were bringing up those past, domestic violence and drunk driving, that, mistakes that, we're all human. Do we make? And I think now he's shown again with Carlisle leaving that, like I said, Brunson's balling. Doncic is back. I got a nice ball club that is doing well and above expectations. And really, people were putting doom and gloom on the Jason Kidd and blasting Mark Cuban for hiring him because of his background. And Jason's proved him wrong so far. It's 40 games, but it looks good. So even though they got waxed tonight, but they play in Tibbs. So Tibbs is one of my favorite coaches. So there's no shame in not getting beat by Tibbs. Tibbs is one of the best. So I'm happy for Jason, and happy he's getting his chance to redeem himself in Dallas, where he was, a star and made himself a Hall of Famer. So
yeah, they just broke the Knicks broke their 6-game winning streak. They're sitting now at 22-19, and still a solid start, but I had a 6-game winning streak. Darnell, your thoughts about how Kidd has been doing his thing down in Dallas?
Well, he's helped them tread water because Luka's been in and Luka's been out, and Porzingis has been in and Porzingis for a lot of times he's been out. But I think Dallas has a good supporting core there with Tim Hardaway Jr., Jalen Brunson. They got Dorian Finney-Smith is a very underrated player. He really plays his role well. Cleveland gives you some good minutes. They have a good team, and the supporting roster has been doing a good job. And Jason Kidd's one of those coaches. I think he can take a team like that with maybe not the top, maybe not the high end talent, but a team that's just like around like the middle of the pack, and he gets them to play above themselves. But maybe he's not the Steve Kerr that's gonna raise the ceiling that much. But that's my assessment of him as a coach. But like you said about Jalen Brunson, I want to add this in there. Jalen Brunson's dad, he's coaching DJ Wagner and them up there
Camden.
at Camden. I think they're the number 2 team in the country right now, something like that.
Yeah, he's coming from good stock, and I've always liked him as a player. And his dad was a tough one as well, so it's all right. But speaking of streaks, John Moran's like, you better put some respect on my name. They got that 10-game winning streak, man. I was watching the game last night against the Warriors. They were up on the Warriors. Warriors came back, went up on them, and then Grizzlies fought back, and then Ja closed the deal. He had Gary Payton II on him for a little bit. Gary was frustrating him for a while, but then he found his opening down the stretch and closed the deal and forgot and wouldn't dap the young man who had on the Warriors shirt. He's like, all right, he gonna keep it 100 the whole time, but that streak is incredible. Talk a little bit, Darnell, about is this sustainable? Are they really who we think they are, or is this something that can taper off later? Yeah, because they a lot of the streak was done when he was out for a little bit. So these other folks have, like Bane and some of these other cats have been holding the thing together. But do you think this is built on a really strong foundation, given how competitive?
I like Bane. Bane is I think he has the makings of a really good role player. You have guys in there like you said, Bane, Jaren Jackson.
He played well last night.
Yeah,
I mean, he was getting them
who
shots
else
and
was playing?
contesting.
Who else was playing nice yesterday? Zaire Williams.
Yes.
The draft pick out of
my
Stanford.
Stanford brother. Yeah.
They have pieces. And I think John Morant has a leadership quality that you need in your point guard. And you see how the team, they feed off of his energy, and when he kicks it into high gear, they come with him, and they feed off of his energy. And this is a team that kind of reminds me of the OKC, the young OKC team. When Westbrook and Durant were first coming up. They don't have a Durant on their team, but just that whole kind of energy and that vibe of like when Westbrook was given, when Westbrook goes into high gear, the rest of the team just follows that, and you kind of get that sense with this OKC team. No, this OKC, with this Memphis Grizzlies team.
Yeah, and they were trying to figure out like is he the most exciting player in the NBA, especially when you got Kyrie coming back and comparing him to Curry and a lot of we always get into the list, but he's quickly coming up that list though. Right, Darnell, I'll do this and then come over here to Hammer. Like, where do you have him on that list? I mean, with the way he's playing, I mean, he's probably going to get his first All-Star nod this year, right? Because he hasn't gotten that, or is he? And so, where do you put him on that list, given how deep this point guard position is around the league?
Most exciting players, because you got John there, of course you got Steph, Kyrie's in there. Zion, when he's not hurt, when Zion is on the court, he is definitely in that conversation because he's going to come up with some highlight plays. But if you're talking about this season, I gotta say Ja Morant is number one, because you see that the chase down block that he had.
That was next level. Yep.
You don't see that every day. Like, that's a block you see LeBron do.
Yeah.
But Ja Morant 6'3".
Yep. Yeah, he's totally gangster. I mean, what's been your impression, Hammer, about Ja, and where you putting him currently where he's at right now?
I still think Steph's the most exciting player, but he's definitely up there. I mean, the defensive game is tremendous. He's just excelled every year. But one thing I think we're remiss, I think the national media is not talking about this, and we're not talking about this, and let's give some respect to Taylor Jenkins, man.
Yeah, he coaching, ain't
This is a guy from the Budenholzer tree. Uh, cut his teeth in the G League with the ATL with Bud. Then went with Bud to Milwaukee and got this job out of nowhere. A young cat, didn't play, just a basketball mind, and really has put this team together. Bain, Zaire, Jalen. I mean, he's one of the best up and coming coaches. So yeah, definitely job makes the engine run, but you gotta give credit to the coach, the leadership. And every year they've gotten better, and they truly believe in him. And he's a quiet leader and a well respected leader. You can tell, and just for what living in Wisconsin, when I heard him get the job and it's an interview, and just his basketball IQ is off the charts. And so, but you gotta also have the personal skills and everything I hear. They just love going for this guy. And they Jaws dogging for him. So this guy's inspiring, and we need to put him on that level as far as Memphis and Taylor Jenkins is going to be a household name. So.
Yeah, it's so crazy because they go from the grind house and they still grind in some way, but they're explosive. Like this is not with the bigs playing under the rim giving you the dipsy doodle. These cats are playing above the rim. If you don't watch out, you're gonna end up on Sports Center. And they are getting out and being competitive, and it's gonna be exciting to kind of see where this goes. Along between them and the team that's playing tonight, your team, Chicago. These teams that are going to be making some noise. If folks don't really watch out what's going on. Clay, the biggest thing, they were tracking social media with Clay Day and everything else. And I mean, in many ways, Clay looks like old Clay and in ways going, just the depth, even though they lost to the Grizzlies, Clay is, when he tripped over the referee last night, I got a little nervous. I was like, oh my goodness. But he done dunked on somebody. He going to the rack. He looking good. They're managing his time. But Carl, maybe what's your sense of watching Clay, and what was it like when you see him get back on the floor for the first time this week?
Well, like I told you, they're keeping 20 minutes a game. They're playing him smart. Again, Steve Kerr understands basketball, and so they have him on. I don't know if they have him on. You all probably know this. I don't know. So they have a minute limit. I mean, it's 20. He's playing, again, 5 minutes a quarter, which is good, and stretches. They're really breaking him in like, a new pair of shoes, basically. They're making sure that he doesn't, get hurt, and he's also putting him in the right positions. And, one thing that's underrated about Clay is an excellent defender. Don't remember that. I mean, everyone talks about his shooting, but he's a tremendous defender. So I think really what I predicted, they're keeping the minutes down. They're acclimating him to the ball club. And I think that they're really doing, again, what I know what Steve Kerr could do, a smart acclimation for him on GSW. And, he's going to be a key piece to them, win a chip this year. No question.
I mean, yeah. They had a unit on there. I think it was Steph. It was Peyton the second. It was Wiggins. It had Clay. I mean, it was a really nice. It gave you almost like that squad feel. Yeah, and then they had and Looney has been is like been really aggressive and playing his role. I mean, I thought there might be a hiccup with him kind of just interrupting some of the the rotation that some of those young guys will get minutes, but everybody seems to be adjusting to him, getting in the rotation, and Steve Kerr is kind of mixing that mix up a little bit. Youngin, I mean, you've been observing it, watching a little bit. Where do you see this Golden State team going? With Clay, do you see some good things around Clay? I know they talked about the defense. He looks, with the minutes they're playing, he looks solid on D. What's been your impression?
My impression, first of all, is Clay is not bashful.
Yeah,
It was funny to see him back out on the court because Clay Thompson has never met a shot that he doesn't like. If he touching the ball, it's going up, and that was my takeaway from the first game. And my second takeaway from Klay Thompson is it seems like he's gotten better with the ball in his hands. Like usually he's a catch and shoot guy, but now I think he's worked on his game. You can tell he's been working. He's been working in the time that he's been off, and he's gotten better at creating his own shot, like off the dribble, and just showing us stuff in that aspect that we haven't really seen from him.
Yeah.
And also on that crossover when he dunked on two people in the lane, I was like, I've never seen Klay Thompson do this before he got hurt. He must have went to Germany or something.
He must have went to Germany. All right. Shout out to Kobe and them. Going over to Germany. I'm with you on that. All right. Who's more disappointing? The Atlanta Hawks or the Boston Celtics? I'll go to you, youngin. Who's more disappointing?
Right now, dang, that's a tough one. But I gotta go.
Not to
I
me.
gotta go Boston because I expected so much. Because Atlanta, they last year was their first year really at that level, and we really expected them to. We expected them to grow. It's definitely disappointing for sure. But in comparison, when you have a Boston team that has Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown, just well, that level of talent is something that you're a perennial, you're a perennial playoff team, and you should be a championship contender. And they're not playing that way. And I don't know what's going wrong with the chemistry and can't because individually they both go off for spectacular performances. It seems like they can't put it together as a team. Like you see Jalen Brown. I think Jalen Brown was for 50 one day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you've seen Jason Tatum do the same thing. It's just I think they're both kind of ISO guys. They don't have a real playmaker on their team, and that's hurting them. And they have a new coach in Ime Udoka, and a lot and some of the Raptors falling on him. Well, I know as a coach,
Sure.
as a coach, yeah. I mean, it's your job. It's your job to get the pieces to mesh together. But they gotta get a point guard in there. And but yeah, that's I think I would say Boston is more disappointing than Atlanta because Boston should be a contender and they're just not right now.
Yeah, I mean, you got two legitimate top wing players in Boston who should be giving you more. And sometimes they can be too passive. Like they need somebody, and Smart's not quite, he could be that guy, but he's not quite that guy. He's not the kind of playmaker, kind of place that you're talking about. But they need somebody who can help set the table and get them eating at the right time. And they just are missing that because they got the basketball ability to do it. They just don't do it enough for each other. And so it's just, you're right. There's something missing, and then coaching find a way to mesh. There's a lot of transition with that. You don't have Ainge there, so there's a lot of instability. But yeah, I thought the Hawks would come back and give everybody nut but buckets. I mean, when you thought about Cam Reddish coming together and where they were going, and I just thought they was good. They I think they just eating too much of them lemon pepper wings. There's something going on down there. They just spend too much time. In the COVID club or something going on. But Hammer, who's most disappointing?
Definitely ATL. I mean, you had a veteran coach in Nate McMillan. You had a team that went on a run. You had a team that gave the Bucks a scare last year, and they're playing garbage. Where Cam Reddish is on the trading block right now. So I just think they are. You got Collins. You got all the talent there. The nucleus has come back. And they've regressed. And I mean, they made the fire at the right time. They brought in a veteran coach like Nate, and they just look listless right now. And so I just think they're the most disappointing. With Boston, just I hate to say it's about the brother, but MJ Aduka just seems like he's out of his league.
Yep.
He just seems like he's. It shows why. I thought he was going to get the Bulls job. I was excited. I was angry when we hired Diamond. Now, obviously, I look like a fool now. But I just want a young kind of up and coming with MJ Duca, but something like I said, those interviews mean something. And now I'm starting to see why he didn't make it the last cycle, because I'm not you said Jalen Brown and I think one of them's got to go. It's gonna be Jaylen Brown. I mean, you're not getting rid of Tatum. Tatum's just too special a player. I think you get rid of Jaylen Brown, you get a point guard, you get another big, you get rid of Horford too as well. You got to change the chemistry. Marcus Smart's a backup, but I never understood why they gave him all that money. I mean, he's a nice. I love some two-way players, but the O is not elite. I mean,
he's a one-way player. He's a defensive.
He can play offense, but he doesn't like D. Will's put it down. He's passive. That's the problem. He'd rather pass the ball. He'd rather play D. He has offensive skills, Darnell. There's no question about it. He's passive, though. That's the problem. He's allowed himself to become a distributor and have that mindset distributor instead of having that dog in him when he was, college ball is different, but LSU, he was a dog. He would take it to the rack. And he would play both sides. In the NBA, he just seems like he's more into playing grade D, distributing, and occasionally putting a shot up. And you can't do that, especially the money he's making. You need to put the ball up, bro.
Yeah, it almost feels like they should have gone with what's the boy, Rozier or something. Like he was much more. They had a choice. They had a choice at a certain point, and I understood why they stuck with him. But
Rozier, it was between Rozier and Kemba Walker. They
traded them for each other, but also they didn't have to sign Smart. They could have used that money for other things that they were lacking right now. I think Smart, that was just a bad move. I mean, I understand why they re-signed him. He's not taking the next step. If you sign him to that type of deal, he takes the next step offensively. The D is there. He takes the next step as far as distributor. He takes the next step as far as the lack of the passivity, the dog in him, which he should have. I mean, this guy comes as a dog. I mean, but it's only been the defensive side of the ball, and that's why it's so disappointing. And he's really a weak link on a team that has a rudderless team with a terrible coach in MD Aduka. So it's just, again, I don't see them as disappointing because I think Nate should have this thing turned around. I don't understand what's happening. But MD Aduka, like I said, I think he's like our Mike Zimmer or Vic Fangio of basketball. He's a great assistant. But being the head guy, Matt Nagy or something, he's that head guy. No, I mean, sometimes it doesn't fit,
If it doesn't fit, you must quit.
Yeah.
All right. We got the can't trust it list, and now we're going to have the all petty white list because there's a couple petty cats out here, and I'm trying to figure out who's more petty. Who's the petty white award of the night? And the two people I want to talk about is my man Rando in New York giving the crowd a thumbs down, get real sensitive. Knowing he had a great year last year, now he's struggling a little bit. He know he in New York. You got to stand up. Fans going to get on you. They're going to love you like tonight, because RJ been putting that extra work in at night, working on his right hand. You can see he doing it. The crowd is chanting his name 2 nights in a row, and you out here giving them thumbs down. And then the other candidate, I don't understand this cat. He calls himself a Kobe guy. He's in the Kobe tree. But the two things I remember, Devin Booker, he's from Michigan. I love him. But between the complaining about being double teamed in pickup games in the summer, when anybody who's ever played pickup game, if you're a baller, you've seen double and triple teams on game point, no point, all point. And then in an empty arena in Toronto, it's empty. And then, so all you got is the mascots up there. They try to do something to create something, and you're going to get the mascot sent over. It just looks so petty. So who was more petty? Who's the first person on the all petty white team, Hammer? Who are you going to put between these two cats? It's almost like a tournament. Which one are you going to put on the petty white?
Nah, it's Randall by far because we know why Devin's clowning. He's around those Kardashians. They just messing up people from Kanye to Lamar Odom to Chris Humphries. They've just Tristan Thompson clown. They just wrecked brothers' lives. There should be like a contract like no brother should date no Kardashians. They got cats. What's the dude? The Travis Scott. He clowning, and I mean they're just a debacle of brothers, man. I mean the brothers got money with them. Yeah, they got billions, but you can't enjoy it when you a bunch of mess. You in the brothel house, or you got a serious thing in Houston with people getting killed and stuff, or you clowning like Devin is, a talent like him. So no, I can't excuse. I mean, again, they love the Kardashians, and but Julius the problem. I mean, Julius balled out last year. Great, great come up. Show great family guy. Now he just clowning. So I gotta go with Julius. Julius has been disappointing, but when the guys run the Kardashians, I'm sorry, it's just like something happens to the brothers, man. I see Kanye right. Kanye just looks different, man. I saw him with this new woman he with now, Julia. What's her name, man? Cox. I mean, he just looks different, bro. I mean, just something like they mess with brothers. They hurt brothers irreparably. I mean, the Kardashians just irreparably hurt brothers, man. And, it just like I said, I mean, people be like, yeah, bro, you be up in there. Like, yeah, I guess I'll be up in there with billions, but you need to have like a psychologist with you at all times.
You better come with Dr. Bowman. You better go call PJ, call Dr. Bowman when you go in there. Get your mind right so you can come up in there. Cause you better go.
Like Lamar messed up. Chris Humphries and just crazy. It's just crazy, man.
All right, Young and our first folks on the all petty white team. Who's more petty between these two right now?
It's easily Devin Booker. I mean, this is not a conversation. They in an NBA game, and you over here worried about the mascot. The mascot not even on the court. I mean, come on now.
Come on, man. It irked me. It irked me. It was some DeBarge type stuff. Like, you already singing. I felt like it was one of those moves like in you want to do in like New Jack City when he walked through with the dog and he stabbed your boy in the hand. It was one of those moments you just felt like you wanted to do because it was just so. Ain't nobody in the arena. The cat's trying to make sure he got a job. Because his whole job was entertaining the crowd, and there ain't no crowd. Like, you messing with people's employment. And he's sitting up there like, I'm going to be fired tomorrow. It's like, come on, I'm with you, man, on that. I'm putting Book on the all petty white team. He just too petty. And he's saying that he's on the Kobe lineage. Is that something Kobe would worry about? Kobe hit 81. You think he worried about that? I don't know, man. I don't know that. So we'll let that go. All right, let me move my little thing out the way. We got to go here. All right, it was Black Monday, man. Woo! Boy, they was handing out pink slips like nothing else on Monday. Man, we got GMs open. We got coaches open. We got Hammer Chicago Bears. We better send a shout out to our boy over there. So hopefully he can help get that thing right. Over
Soup's
there in
on
Chicago.
That committee, bro.
Yeah, he's on
the other night.
Yep.
Soup texted me tonight.
Yeah. So if y'all want to see an interview we did with my man Soup, go to realsportsguys.com. We got a great interview with my man Lamar Soup Campbell. So that's a great brother. He's over there helping out with that search. So what we got? We got GM openings in Minnesota, Chicago, in New York. We got coaches openings in Jacksonville, Denver, Minnesota, Chicago, Miami, and New York, the Giants. Looking at let's take it. I know some of these things are package deals, but let's just look at, if you're a GM and talking about the best GM opening, Darnell, let me start with you. What do you think is like if you're a GM candidate, you're thinking about the best team and kind of opening when you think about from a GM perspective, when you look at that kind of Minnesota, Chicago, and the Giants, what are you looking at? Which team is got you thinking and salivating?
I like Minnesota. I think they have weapons. They have untapped potential in their offense, I believe. Just basically from the way they've run their offense for the last few years. I mean, this is a team. They have Adam Thielen. They have Justin Jefferson. They got my boy KJ Osborne. They got Dalvin Cook. I mean, they should be, they should be spreading it out. They should be able to throw the ball. And you can even use Dalvin Cook in that passing game, like you've seen, and you can use him like Georgia was using his brother. I mean, I think there's a lot of possibilities that you can do with that Minnesota offense, and that's really intriguing to me. And defensively, um, yeah, you got to do a couple things there, but I like I think I like the potential that's there in Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we used to do all like our preseason stuff, and y'all remember every time we got to Minnesota, I said the problem is they got a coach who got a Mercedes and he's got a Maserati and he's driving like the Model T, and that's it. Just exactly what you said. He's got all these weapons, and you go through the season and like, how did they get beat? When you name all that talent they got, plus pretty solid defense, I could see that being a really good place to be in terms of you can with the right things you can make something happen in that division with some uncertainty happening over there in Green Bay and changes going on in Chicago and in Detroit still trying to find its way up the ladder. Hammer, when you look at those teams, if you're a GM, where do you want to go?
Well, Chicago, definitely. You got a budding franchise quarterback. You got a tremendous running back that was underutilized. Why Matt May got fired because he ran the guy 7 times a game on 5 4th-and-1s. He passed the ball. Yeah, you got an excellent defense. Travis Gibson's going to be a star. Quinn, Khalil Mack's coming back. Roquan. And also, you got a lot of flexibility because you got a lot of free agents. You, as a GM, you're going to be able to come in and draft and then bring in and shape this ball club more than Minnesota. And Kirk Cousins is a problem as far as cap wise. And I think he's going to end up in Cleveland because I think Stefanski wants him. I think they want Baker out of there. So, but that's just luck that you're going to have that Stefanski, Cousins. But other people aren't crazy about Cousins, especially he's unvaccinated too. So they're not going to tell you this on the record, but they're not going to feel that him being unvaccinated. So I think again, Chicago, like I said, you got. Again, if Peters comes back and is a tutor for Jenkins, you got Larry Borms getting some of the highest grades. PPF this year, just bald. You got a nice interior with Daniels, Whitehair. You probably need to get Mustafer. You need to upgrade with him. But you got also Komet. You got some young talent. Roquan Smith. Jalen Johnson. And then, like I said, you got a lot of free agents where you can shape the ball club. If you're a true GM, you can come in and make impact by bringing either people who you were affiliated with as your old ball club, people you want to bring in, high quality, undrafted free agents, drafting well. You don't have a first round pick, but you could use one of those players, maybe package in the first round or get a couple seconds. But you have a lot of maneuverability with the Bears, and also you have a franchise that wants to get it right. I mean, they can both the GM and I'm telling you, I live in Chicago. Everybody was talking about Pace was going to get this promotion, and he didn't get a promotion. He got axed, and the reason why because the fans drove both of those firings. And I'm telling you, the McCaskies understand they got a great cash cow, but you mess with the fans too much, man. You know this, D. Wills. Eventually, the fans will come back and bite you like a dog. And they knew they had to make a change. They knew they couldn't sell Ryan Pace. They tried to put trial balloons out there about him being the football operations. And Louis Ray broke it down. He said, I wouldn't go there with Pace. I don't blame him, brother. And you look at the people they're interviewing right now, Peterson and Flores, and again, they got. I think they want to put it together. They're going to put it together. I think, and also what Pat McCaskey's going to do too. They're going to stay out of the football business. That's been their biggest problem. Stop.
Well, but I think that's what a lot of people say, and then when it's time, they can't help themselves. And I think that's part of the issue in Chicago is that they're a big city that operates like a small market.
Yeah, but D. Wills, that's why I think again you don't understand. They fire both the GM and they've never done that in years. Okay, so that tells me they understand what they've done. It hasn't worked. They hired Mark Trestman. That was a debacle. They hired Fox, a debacle. Jerry
Angelo, and they got Bill Polian involved. I think Polian will help them as a consultant. So I think if they listen to him, but it's. This guy picked Ryan Leaf. Didn't pick Ryan Leaf.
pick Peyton Manning. Again, people can talk about how laugh at the Buffalo Bills, but hey, you can't sniff it. You go to the Super Bowl 4 straight times. You lose. Hey, that's an accomplishment. I'm sorry. Now you want to win the big thing. That's an accomplishment. You put together squads together like Bill Polian. That's an accomplishment. So I don't like what he said about Lamar Jackson. That made me lose respect for him. But a lot of people were saying that. But I think again, Polian as the kind of the czar coming in there, they're understand now that the fans are going to take, especially you trying to move out the city and you trying to get public money or good luck if you don't have a product. And so you got, again, a franchise quarterback in Fields, got a franchise running back in Montgomery with less tread because the dumb coach we fired wouldn't use him. You got, again, Darnell Mooney's a nice too, but you need to get an alpha dog at receiver. Something like Olave or David Bell. One of my guys.
Olave not going to be there.
I don't know about that, man. I see him in the mocks in 29. I don't think he's going to run well. I don't think he's going to run well in the combine. I think he's going to be a second rounder. I really do. I think he's going to be a steal. He's going to be like a Michael. He's going to be a second rounder. You're laughing right now.
You hope he will be a second rounder.
No, I hope. It's like I hope that we got Justin Fields, and we did. My hope worked. Hey, I hope. I was hoping for Justin Fields all the time, and we got him, didn't we?
So to wrap this up a little bit, I listened to y'all, and then I listened to Mayor a little bit on the interview and in terms of him. I think the Giants are interesting because the coach and the GM was it was a clown show, and they got some draft capital, and I think one of the things that Darnell mentioned in the text a little bit, about, I know y'all had the debate about Andrew Thomas, and you see the improvement. There's some talent there. I just don't think they were coached up a lot, and you got draft capital, and you in a division that's shaky. Like Cowboys got a lot of talent. The Cowboys got a lot of talent, but you don't trust McCarthy.
The Eagles are shaky.
The Eagles are shaky.
No, they're not.
I think Washington's still trying to find their quarterback. So if they
find quarterback, be good. They were playing last year.
But I'm saying I can come in here and compete in that right now. Now if Green Bay keep Rodgers, and like you said, Chicago get their act together, or if you're the other side, I think the Central's a little bit tougher. I think you come in New York with the right stuff and make it happen. So I agree with y'all said about the other two teams, but I don't think New York is a bad job, because I think they're doing the same thing as they did the same thing as the Bears. They haven't looked outside.
They're worse than the Bears.
But they said they haven't looked outside. They fired everybody and they're looking outside. Last time they went external, they got something good. Right,
bruh.
Look at the draft. Look at what they got in terms of how they're setting the game up, man. I don't think the Giants. All the arguments y'all think y'all made is good, but I'm not. I wouldn't sleep on the Giants.
The coaches attacking the fans. Nagy didn't do that. Nagy.
Yeah, but he wasn't ready.
But Joe Judge, he got fired.
He got fired.
I know that, but I'm saying that was they co-signed everything, bro. The Maris co-sign everything. You don't think they co-sign on that?
Look, man. But if you confident coming in, they're giving you the freedom, which they have done in the past. I can work with that.
They fired Jerry Reese. I knew they weren't. They weren't serious, man.
And then they have two. I think they have two top 10
Jerry
picks.
Reese for Gettleman.
They have two. I think they have two top 10 picks this year.
Yes.
You can easily turn that into.
You're gonna blow them. They're gonna overdraft like they overdrafted Saquon Barkley. They overdrafted
Carl. Carl, we're having a discussion about if you were the GM.
Yes.
Which situation would you like to go to?
I wouldn't go to Maris.
And what I was saying is,
they would not. They didn't ham-hand you.
Let him say what he's gonna say.
So what you saying is they won't let you pick who you're gonna pick in the draft.
Precisely. You think that the Saquon Barkley pick. That's not a good personnel move. You don't draft a running back that high.
But they didn't pick him. That was what Gettleman did. They didn't tell Gettleman he had to do that.
You don't think they co-signed on a guy from
I'm saying
between co-signing and
a guy from the Bronx. That was a pure football. That was a pure business move. You had a local dude who was on the board, who's a supposed to call.
But that was the GM. That was the GM and the coach agreeing on that strategy. It wasn't the owners.
That was the Mariners.
But what we're saying is, I believe if you came with a different strategy and it was sound, they're gonna support you. That's my sense in New York. My sense is the GM and the coach get the chance to say it. In this case, they went for Barkley. And then they said, okay, they made a case for it. They were okay for it. The case, it wasn't like the ownership said, you got to go get Barkley. That wasn't what they said.
They fired Tom Coughlin. They didn't know what the heck they were doing. That's the bottom. That's when they started.
So they realized it. But I'm saying, but the point that we're just making right now, but Hammer, you missing the point. The point is, if they hired you, if you had a chance to go in there, that's not what you're going to do.
But they're not going to let you do what you want.
How do you know? There's no evidence to say that they won't let you pick who you want to pick. Like that, nobody said that about the Mariners. Like no one said that about them.
Daniel, you think a guy like Gettleman wanted to pick Daniel Jones? I remember
Gettleman had his own, like Gettleman, like the Boston accent, trying to come in here.
I was in a hotel room, man, in tribal land. I saw that pick. I threw some at the TV. I was like, that's some BS.
That's why he's no longer there.
That's why.
Go ahead, Darnell. Let's bring Darnell into it.
David Gettleman did the Mikey Garcia. He said, "I see something." He said, "I see something."
That was the Mariners.
No, that was David Gettleman.
That was Gettleman. It was not the Mariners.
I love what David Cutcliffe. That's what happened.
Eli, it's a Cutcliffe Eli show telling them this guy is the next Eli. Come on, man. Gettleman's not stupid.
He's stupid.
What you had to do is a turnover machine.
Man, I'm going to tell you right now. The New York job is a solid job. I know you're trying to step up on
you. Turn the ball over too.
Yep. He's doing it.
I said Eli used to turn the ball over too.
All right, enough with the GMs. Okay, Darnell, we're gonna go to the coaches. Like, if you're a coach, looking at, we got Jacksonville, Denver, we got Minnesota, Chicago, Miami, and New York. You're a coach. Where would you want to be going?
So he said we got Miami, New York, Minnesota, Denver, and Jacksonville.
In Chicago.
Oh yeah, Chicago. I like Chicago. And it's between Chicago and Denver for sure. Those are the two.
Denver got a quarterback.
Denver don't have a quarterback, no. But
that's why Vic got fired, man. That's a shame. They didn't give Vic a quarterback for 3 years.
Vic Fangio should still be there. And I don't know what pick they have, but this year it's not a whole bunch of teams going to be clamoring for the top guy. So you could get like a Kenny Pickett or something in Denver. So if Denver ends up with Kenny Pickett or Matt Corral, I might have to go with Denver. But as currently constituted, I'm going with Chicago because they have the infrastructure there right now. They gotta do something with the offensive line, but that's really their big hole. They gotta fix the O-line, and they gotta get it.
Offensive line is not that bad.
And they gotta get another corner opposite. I almost said opposite Thomas Graham, but opposite Jalen Johnson. But if you do that, we're
that's
set.
a Freudian slip because Thomas Graham is up. Thomas Graham is going to.
I like Thomas Graham.
He said develop a good player. Right? Nagy dissed Thomas Graham, bro. That's why Nagy dissed. That's why everybody got fired too. Thomas Graham was balling those last couple of games.
Thomas Graham's going to end up being a nickel. I think he's going to end up being.
No, Eddie's going to be the nickel. Eddie's going to be the nickel, and they're going to move Graham to. That's what happened. Eddie needs to be the nickel, bro. That's what happened.
So Eddie Jackson's going to play nickel, and who's playing safety?
They got to draft the safety. That's what they got to do. Second round, probably. There's some good safeties.
Who told you this?
Let me call Soup. Let me call Soup. Soup. What the hell is? I'm gonna pull a Lombardi. What the hell is going on out there?
I give my guy a
Wait,
shout
you
out.
gonna take your
My
star
brother-
safety and move him to nickel? What?
Hey,
What? This
in
is
his defense,
that's a Joe Judge move.
in his
That's a Joe
defense,
Judge move, Darnell.
Eddie Jackson did start off as a cornerback,
Yeah,
and then he moved to safety. It's not like he
He's a
can't play.
nickel.
It's not like he can't play nickel. He can play
He's a
nickel.
full-time nickel, bro. That's what he is. He is gonna excel as a full-time nickel. Watch. That's what I'm telling you. I've been talking personnel. I'm gonna drop his name again. We need to get him on the show. I told him we need to get him on the show. Leon Jones. We've been breaking down the Bears roster for like the last 4 weeks. I mean, dude, 2-hour conversation. This brother know breaking down PPS for it. I'm telling you, the way he's more high in the talent than I am, but the stuff he's talking about as far as the Bears goes with Jenkins, if he's healthy, he's going to be a nice left tackle. I think Borum's got a nice.
You hated Tevin Jenkins 2 weeks ago.
see, you are flip flopping GM. You need to go to New York. The way you flip flopping, you perfect in New York.
I'm flip-flopping. I'm saying that I was disappointed with Tevin Jenkins, but I think he can. I think that with the right coaching, I think probably you fire Harry Hestad for Castillo. Yeah, the guy's not going to do well. That's a Nagy move. He hires boy from Philly. So I'll be. But you know who my pick is Chicago. You don't have a franchise quarterback, a star running back. You need to feel. You have a lot of flexibility with the free agents you have, and you're gonna be able to. Again, we're gonna have talent development. Like I said before, you're gonna be able to coach as a coach, have talent development with Borum, with Mustafa, with Darnell Mooney, with Daz Newsome, Goodwin, and you're going to be able to have a vertical offense finally because you're not going to have an idiot like Nagy who's at the helm as your coach. And so I think any of the coaches, like I said, the money's on, I guess, now Flores, I guess, right now is the leader in the clubhouse. I like that, actually. If he gets the right OC. I like the brother. So, but I think that's the thing that Chicago's got the right infrastructure on the playing field, and I think also the GM phase. And again, I know I'm biased. I ain't gonna lie to the fans here, but am I wrong about some of the stuff we're talking about? No. I mean, I ain't going to New York unless you want a one-way ticket back home with the Maras.
Yeah, I think Miami's interesting. Even though they got rid of Flores, I mean, this the team that was competing. I think they got some interesting depth. But I think Chicago, obviously, because you got the great quarterback there. I know it's strange y'all didn't say anything about Jacksonville with what you're saying that, you know, you got it.
Miami is interesting, but that offensive line scares me. That offensive line is way worse than Chicago. It's way worse than Chicago. And I was like, because it's interesting because Miami had a good draft in 2021, but if you look at their 2020 draft, and it's like, miss. Like every single one is like.
So Darnell, I want to ask you something because one of the things I've been thinking about this, and maybe I'm wrong. You just talked about the offense. I think one of the positions I think relies so much on great teaching and coaching that could change so much is offensive line. Like a good offensive line coach can come in and really make a difference. Let's say in a place like Miami, right? So when you start to really evaluate the talent, but you have somebody who can really teach, and that's. You know, you got some great offensive line coaches out there, but there's some differences in the way that they're able to move with that. Is that your thought as well? If you were coming in, like they're bad, but some of it, how much is it with the way?
There's some guys that have to go.
Yeah.
Like the Austin Jackson kid. Like,
my man.
Nobody in the world. Like
man.
we were. I think we covered this draft. We covered this draft live as it was happening, and Austin Jackson has not crossed any one of our minds. I think it was top 10. Where did Austin Jackson go? Did he go like 10 or 15 or something?
I can tell you that, yeah. But my offensive, Austin Jackson is basically a defensive player of other team. That's really what he is. I mean, let's just call it like it is. That's what he is. I mean,
oh, man.
If his family's watching, I'm sorry. I'm gonna just keep it real. That's your family member. 6'5", 325 bust. He's number 18.
Drafted 18.
18. Just a debacle, man. That brother 6'5", 325 playing 5'5", 425. That's what you play. Look like on tape.
All right. Well,
Oh, man.
speaking of debacles, timeout gate. Now you know me. I was watching that Raiders Los Angeles Chargers game. I should just call them San Diego the way they played. But and I was like, the only way we could not make the playoffs if they had a tie. And I'm like, I cannot believe they're about to have this tie. I was already ready to go to bed and just be frustrated. And then comes the timeout. And I'm like, did he just call a timeout? There may be an opportunity here. And next thing you know it is. So, Youngin, you put this on here, timeout gate. I mean, what do you do? Like, you can't even talk to your players after that.
Somebody's got to win. Somebody's got to win. Oh, man. Brandon Staley. Oh,
too smart. Outsmarting this room. These young guys.
Outsmarted himself. Man.
I mean, analytics and all this stuff, common sense, boy. You can't get the wisdom. But I was so happy. I was running around like, we've done it again. The Steelers are back. Ready to roll. But that was amazing because I was like, the Raiders were ready to say, okay, they're ready to run the football one more time, and we just walked off. And I was like, man, I cannot. Out of all the scenarios, this was going to happen. What did you think, Hammer, when you saw that?
It was terrible by Staley. I mean, Staley is. The fact they're not in the playoffs is a really indictment on him because they're too good of a playoff team. And also, I didn't like the fire anyway. I thought Anthony Lynn got fired too soon.
Mm-hmm.
They should have one more year. And then, sadly, he went to Detroit. Typical with brothers, we get shafted and coached, and we get a jacked up OC job, and then they fire you again. But yeah, Staley, like I said, is a great defensive mind, but he just was in over his head in some games this year. They underperformed. Herbert, I mean, that game was the best game of the year, but for that dumb move. Because Herbert did a 4th and 21 play.
I mean, they kept getting fourth downs. I was like,
yeah,
I know we're in Vegas. Are we point shaving? I'm like, are they trying to point shave in Vegas? Like, right before my eyes? Everybody's in agreement?
They just. I think Vegas showed you why they were on the cusp of getting knocked out.
I mean, they made every damn fourth down. Like, y'all can't get one dang stop. I could not believe it, man. My heart couldn't take it.
They should have cut Damon Arnett. They should have kept Damon Arnett, man. He would have stopped somebody.
I know with one of the guns he had, he was showing on that Instagram post. I don't know what he was doing, but dang, I mean, but I them Raiders are. It's good to see that they keep on. They're pushing on and they're going. We got a lot happening with the playoffs. My Steelers made it. They go Tomlin again, boy. We just, we want volunteers. We don't want hostages. We just little now we're about to run into a buzzsaw, but I'm glad they just made the playoffs. I'm glad they had a great game against Baltimore, close it out, and then we had the timeout gate coming in there, and the Steelers walk right back into the playoffs. So the playoffs are set. So we got Vegas and Cincy, we got New England against Buffalo, Philly against Tampa, we got the 49ers against Cowboys, Steelers against KC, and Cardinals against the Rams. Hammer, is there an upset brewing there?
Oh yeah, Niners all day, man. All day.
Is that really an upset?
Really not, but it is technically because it's in Dallas.
It's a road game.
Yeah, but I think I think Jimmy G balled out. Bosa's gonna bring it. I mean, it just got a nice club, man. And so yeah, I think Dallas, they're just they're too up and down. I think that they're not consistent, and I don't trust McCarthy. If I would see McCarthy on the sidelines, I'm very, very comfortable back in the ball game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, who do you trust as a head coach?
I think the Cardinals. It's not upset. I think the Cardinals will. Because the not line is Dallas 3. I think Cardinals will beat the Rams because I think Detroit Matt is Detroit Matt. He's a loser. and so he's just gonna find a way to lose. That's the bottom line, and so he just has a losing culture of the Lions that is in his DNA, and he's also, from the former Georgia, can't trust it. He's not part of the new Georgia. We do it. We come back from getting whooped in the SEC championship game to whooping on Bama. So no, I just think those are the upsets I see next weekend. I think again the Steelers gonna play a tough game, man. Don't they're gonna play a tough game, man. They're not gonna come in there and roll over. I mean, this line. I'm not a better, but man, if I did bet, I would put me some money on. They ain't no 12.5. That is insulting to the Steelers. 12.5. Insult. I don't know what Stanford Steve's saying, but I would put some money on Pittsburgh. Like I said, if I don't bet because I don't like that because cats get hurt, stuff like that. But I'm telling you, that line is an insult to Tomlin, man. And that line is, I tell you, they'll probably talk about betting lines, but I guarantee you, Tomlin's like, they think you're 2 touchdowns. They're not 2 touchdowns better than Pittsburgh. Are you serious? With TJ Watt balling? I mean, come on, man. I know
I'm a Steelers fan, but they just beat us down a couple weeks ago. I'm hoping they come out here and don't get buzzed out.
That's why
I love Tomlin. Yeah, it's gonna be closer.
They're
gonna fight.
Because you don't think Tomlin's gonna look at that tape and inspire people, dude.
He's gonna do what he need to do.
Dude, that team is not that team. They went 9-7-1, right? They went 9-7-1, right?
Yeah.
That team was a 7-9-1 ball club.
Hey, we've seen. Let's just say we've seen that movie before. The Steelers and the Chiefs. They got to. The Steelers got to show me something. I'm sorry, they got to show me something.
I'm not gonna pick them to win the game. I think they're not gonna. 2 touchdowns. That's getting whooped, dude.
Did you watch their last meeting?
Yeah, they got cracked. I saw it. I saw it. I wear glasses, but I can see.
It was like Creed 2, the first fight. It's a balanced breakfast over there. It was like hopefully we'll come back. Hopefully they went to the desert like Georgia and they're gonna come back. I will go to war.
They need to make sure they run Najee. They run Najee. They run Snell.
They're gonna have to cut the possession.
They need to keep KC off the field. That's what they need to do. They can't be throwing the ball. They need to feed Najee. Najee need to be Najee left, Najee right, Najee in the. It need to be Najee this. I don't hear anybody. I want to hear Najee for the whole game. That should be the most said word on the telecast is Najee.
Well, we'll see. That Youngin, you see any upsets over here, Youngin?
Yeah, my upset is New England's gonna beat New England's gonna beat Buffalo. They gonna out physical them. They gonna take them behind the woodshed and they're gonna do them like Bernard Hopkins. They're gonna do it like Bernard Hopkins. They gonna hit him with them body blows like Mel Tucker be talking about.
Yeah, I think that Philly gonna be interesting with Tampa because if you're gonna get Tampa, you get them in this first round while they're trying to get themselves right. That Philly game gonna be interesting in that first round, with it. So we'll keep an eye on it and keep things going. Here on RSG. Thank you for this. This is One Mic. I'm here with my man Darnell and with the man Hammer. We're gonna go in here and talk about the year of the dog. It is time. What's up? Well, we gotta give the young a little bit because this is his team. He been trying to root for him. Kirby done try to get the breakthrough and everything else. What did it feel to watch that game on Monday night, Darnell? And what does this mean for the Dogs moving forward?
Hey, I tried to warn y'all. No, I was kidding. But yeah, like the title says, the year of the dog, like the Chinese New Year, it's the year of the dog. Seems like from the beginning of the season, this is the team. This was a team of destiny. This is the team that the story. It seemed like the story of the season was the Georgia team, and in particular that Georgia defense. And Alabama, like I said last week on the show, with all their injuries and stuff, it really made it harder. And I'm not trying to it's not like I'm making excuses for because I told you what was going to happen before it was going to happen. Especially when Jameson Williams went down, they just made it too much because yeah, they have 5 stars behind them, but at the same time, um, they they was on the bench for. I'm not gonna say it was on the bench for a reason, but you know what I'm saying. It's a clear drop off, and when you're going against a team like Georgia with the type of talent that they not worried about no Ja'Cory Brooks. I mean, you can see the strategy change to where when Jameson Williams came out the game, they could just go, you know what, we're going cover one, and um, I'm just it's my man versus your man, and I believe my man's going guard. He's gonna be able to hold your man. He's gonna be able to hold your man while we blitz and send extra pressure on Bryce Young, and Georgia was victorious.
Yeah, Bryce blamed himself for the loss, but I think he had a great year. It was just one of those things. It wasn't your time. Kirby had him. He said they burned the boats, man. He said they're gonna do it. I mean, they said they were not gonna be denied, and them boys, them junkyard dogs came in there. Like we need more dogs. They had it going. Hammer. You've been down there. You've been
Yeah,
you've been in Atlanta. You was in Georgia. You just feeling that
yeah,
funk. You watching crazy Herschel Walker do whatever he doing, but
yeah,
these
yeah,
dogs, they took on that Villanova diet. They got that Jay Rice stuff out their system. They said we can't be on this can't trust list, and they got off. So what does this mean for them moving forward? You think that they totally off the list, or are they gonna find their way back?
No, I think Arch Mann's gonna come in there and ball out. They're gonna get another title in a couple of years. But no, I'll give Stenson Bennett the fifth or whatever, the fourth, his props. Yeah, I got my Roman numerals messed up. Yeah, so yeah,
Roman noodles. No, I was
I said Roman
He said
numerals.
ramen. He got his ramen noodles. He
What
said
is
ramen
wrong?
noodles messed up.
No,
I ain't no ramen noodles. It's been a long time. I probably need to eat some. Eat some.
oh man.
No, my Roman numerals. But the bottom line is that it's Benson. Bennett played really great. The defense is tremendous. Bowers. Yeah, obviously the Jamison Williams injury was really unfortunate. It changed the game. But no, again, Georgia was the best team all year. I think that really though the momentum changed the game when Jamison Williams blew his knee out. And also Bama just couldn't put it together against that defense. Give Dan Lanning credit. We were talking about was his mind going to be mind right? His mind was right. That defense was clicking on cylinders. Why he's going to Eugene now.
There's a championship on the line. Where else can your mind be? Your mind. I mean, Dan Lanning. Dan Lanning has
paying myself paying $5 million a year.
Let's talk about this legendary coaching staff that was on that 2015 Alabama team. You had Mel Tucker, Kirby Smart.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And you know who else was on that?
Sarkisian was on there too, wasn't he? Sarkisian, right?
I think maybe. No, I think it might have been Lane Kiffin. I think it was Lane Kiffin.
No, Lane Kiffin was. Yeah, he was OC. That's right.
Yeah, but Dan Lanning was a GA. Dan Lanning was a graduate assistant. He was a GA on that staff. So he's been a part of this whole rivalry between the two, and he's been a part of this whole thing. So it means a lot to him as well. I knew it wasn't going to be just like,
Bama can't win every year. Bama can't win every year, man.
Yeah. But
I know who you probably know this. Are they the favorites? Are they the favorites?
Bama's the favorite for next year.
Yeah, that's what I figured that because I figured they're the favorite next year. I think they'll be. I mean, again, Georgia had tremendous, but I mean every level just tied. And the only thing that was suspect was Bennett. He balled, so he balled out. So
he started out shaky.
Yeah, he started shaky. But I think a lot of mojo changed though. Like I said, when Jameson Williams went down, I was like, they smell blood. It's like, let's go for the kill. We can get them now. Woo woo woo! Dog. It's dog time, and they balled out. You can just tell, just their whole mindset change. It's like, this is the opening we got. Like we can't lose this after Jameson Williams is going down. We will ever be forever in infamy.
But then, like I said in my opening statement, when when there's a guy like Jameson Williams on the field, there's a certain type of respect that he garners. Like you have to worry about you know what I'm saying, you have to worry about him possibly running by you. You know what I'm saying, he has that top end speed where he takes the top off the defense. So if you make a false move, you in trouble. If you have to have that kind of, you're on your toes a little bit. But when he leaves the field, they can really pin their ears back. And now they were flying around from the very first possession, but that just intensified it even more. On top of that,
yeah, and you even look like I said I mean, everyone kind of got fool's gold with the Rose Bowl with all of these cats coming out like Marvin Harrison Jr. But I showed you that tape of that brother. What's his name? AG. What's the brother name?
Jai Hall. If you've been watching this show for more than a year, you'll remember me talking about Jai Hall after Alabama spring game. This guy tore it up. Yeah. But like I've been hearing behind the scenes, there's been a reason why he hasn't been on the field. He has problems with drops, and he's been showing it in practice. And it showed up. Unfortunately, it showed up on the biggest stage. He got two catches. He was targeted 8 times, and he only had 2 catches. And it's unfortunate, but it went down like that.
And that's unfortunate because I sent Darnell this tape that I got on Twitter, and I knew he would enjoy it. He was like, "Wow!" I'm like, "That's Darnell," because it showed this exact route that he and Jerry Jeudy did. They look like clones, and I'm like, this dude. But he drops the ball, but he'll improve. I mean, he'll improve. So
he is a true freshman, but
but they don't. Yeah.
So there's a lot of talk a little bit about should the playoffs be expanded? If so, how many more teams? Before I've had to have my breakthrough. Young had been working on me for a while. Hammer been working on me for a while. Look, until the rest of y'all can step up, we're gonna stick with 4. I'm at the point right now. Until the rest of y'all can step up, we're gonna stick with 4. Why waste all this to end up with the same outcome we're gonna end up? Until the rest of y'all can prove y'all ready to step up, then we just gonna, in my mind, let's just stick with 4. Like I saw all I need to see on Monday, and I don't want to hear nobody crying. I don't want to hear none of this other stuff until the rest of y'all can. They just wanted more. They just wanted more. I'm in there. I'm singing the song right now. They just wanted more. So I don't know what 8 gonna get me. I don't know what 12 gonna get me. I don't know what any of that's gonna get me when it's gonna end up the same way because they just wanted more. So I don't understand it. So I'm back to the point right now where I'm like I'm okay with 4 until the rest of y'all prove y'all can do something.
Yeah, when I was watching that game, I was thinking the same. Well, for the most part, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, these boys is hitting.
Yeah.
I was watching Georgia, and then I was like, man, these boys are hitting. How many extra games you want to put on this? Like, I know in high school they got a playoff, but we only play 9 games. So like, if you want to add a whole big playoff thing, you're gonna have to take some games off that regular season. They're not gonna be able to really go through that. And then on top of that, we talk about meaningless bowl games. If we have a 16-game playoff or a 12-game playoff, what's a meaningless game? Well, it's not meaningless because it's for the playoffs. But Pittsburgh or Michigan State going up against Georgia or Alabama, I mean, that's just what. I mean, we play like Herm would say, you play to win the game, but you got to ask the question: why are we playing this game? We know what's going to happen.
For that higher seed,
you know what's going to happen. It's Alabama versus Michigan State. You know what's going to happen. Come on now, Georgia versus Pittsburgh. You know what's going to.
They just wanted more. They just wanted more. Yeah,
Alabama lost to Texas A&M.
Notre Dame did not deserve to be on the same field as Georgia. I mean, it is what it is. We got the best teams playing in the championship, and I believe you don't really have to.
Yes, you do have to. Let me tell you why. college football. I mean, the CFP is the only major sport where you take off 2 months, and lose the momentum you had in the season, and then all of a sudden you come back and win the championship. That's ludicrous. It should be 24 teams like the FCS. What's good for the FCS is good for the CFP, and you keep the momentum. And don't tell me about how because some of these some of these Mickey Mouse games they play in the year don't play the players. That's all. Don't play. If you playing Sam Houston State, the cat shouldn't play. Bryce Young should be playing that game. Right, the backup should be playing that game. You need to give the fans continuity and give it 24 teams so that we can play through and we have I mean, they would make, again, the fans would be so jacked up. And then also everyone wins with that. You have continuity. Everyone's making tons of money. You will get higher. The NIL is going to be off the charts because you have so many games you'll do. And then the bowl game, all the bowls become parts of this expanded series of 12 games. So you're going to have 12 bowls. It's going to be amazing, man. And you have some bowls outside of that too. Everyone, but you make these other bowls that aren't premium bowls. Now all of a sudden you're part of the CFP, the expanded CFP of 24. Man, you're going to be making and like we talked about this too. I think it's on the air totally. These games are watched, people. You getting $1 million to watch the game. These games are watched more than NBA regular season games, a lot of other things. People are gonna watch this. People want this. They don't want a layoff.
I'm okay with that, but what I'm saying, but the product is going to be terrible because these teams ain't ready to play at that level. They ain't ready to play at that level.
I have one thing to say. You said a 24 team playoff. I took the liberty of pulling up the final college football rankings. You know who the 24th best team in the country is? Utah State.
Yeah.
They should be able
to have a chance to eat. Like they have a Cinderella. We know it's probably not going to happen.
Utah State versus Alabama.
Utah State.
You're going to have a whole bunch of them teams you have a whole bunch of them teams look like Creed against Papa. It's going to look like Rocky IV. It's going to look like Rocky IV all over the country.
Dave Aranda was a DC at Utah State at one time. So you can just Utah State.
Alabama going to stand over Utah State and say, if he dies, he dies. If they die, they die.
Utah State and Alabama do not play the same sport.
You are so elitist, bruh. Utah State is a solid.
My eyes told me these last 2 weeks. I'm done. Convince me I'm wrong, rest of y'all. I'm done trying to fight that fight.
You having people wait too much. It's bad for the players too. I think that's one reason why they either drop out or they don't, or they get hurt because it's too much of a layoff, man. You need to keep on hitting. Y'all play ball. I didn't play football. Y'all know it's about continuity, hitting, the body getting used to it. You take it off 2 months.
All right. Well, we're gonna have plenty of time because this is gonna be a topic over the off season. I know right now they met and they pushed back on it. It'll come back. We will look at it, but what I see, I'm good with foe because I just ain't nobody stepping up until they show me they stepping up. Foe. That's what I'm trying to come with it. Yeah, maybe when USC come back and get their stuff right, I might get right. But I right now, foe is enough because ain't nobody else stepping up. Everybody's stepping up to get beat down, and until they just want it more. They just want it more. It just matters more. It just matters a little bit more down there.
You had classics with Oklahoma State. Notre Dame was a great game.
Yeah, well,
I'm not a big college football.
But it's not part of the playoff.
But it's not part of the playoff.
It's not part of the playoff. If Georgia
played, they should have been allowed to play. At my point, they should have allowed to play for a meaningful game.
They did play in a meaningful game.
That's not
Oklahoma,
me. Some
yes, it
exhibition.
is.
Well, you
It's
had
a
third,
meaningful.
fourth
It's a
string players
meaningful
playing. Come
game.
on, man. Kyle Hamilton didn't play.
It's people.
The
It's
best player in
people.
the field didn't play.
It's people like y'all that's ruining the bowl game.
That's
No,
right.
man.
That's
The,
right.
the
The bowl
media,
game's
the
already
media has
ruined.
convinced everybody the
You
bowl
got
game is
people
meaningless.
putting
Yeah,
mayonnaise on people.
they're all great. They're competitive. They
The
do what they're supposed
media
to do. They're
the
great for the
media has
fans.
convinced
Yep.
everybody that bowl games are
And they
meaningless. It
need to
was
be
Those
not.
part of
those,
the
those
CFP.
events are in and of
They need to be
themselves
part
great
of the
events for those
CFP
two
or
institutions.
CFP. That'd be
When
amazing.
Michigan beat Florida with Tim Tebow in them in 2007, you couldn't tell nobody that was a meaningless football game.
That's all
It
right.
wasn't played for a
Yep.
national championship.
Yep.
That was a meaningful football game.
It's a meaningful
And they
football
should
game.
be
Everybody
allowed
would
to be
say.
in the. They should be allowed to be in the CFP, the expand CFP. 4 teams is not enough. It's not enough.
It
Well,
is.
they first got to tell me they're going to compete. I ain't just doing it for the money. And right now, I don't see people stepping
We
up.
see it every year. We see Washington,
Yeah.
Michigan State.
Yeah.
The
One,
fourth team,
they need to demonstrate they're
Oklahoma
ready to
got it
compete.
multiple times.
Yeah.
The
Because
fourth
all they
team,
doing is
They're ready to
yep.
compete.
Showing up and getting beat down ain't something I'm looking for. Show up and compete. I mean, you got to win, but you got to show up and compete. And right now, y'all not competing. All right, we're going to drop the mic. All right, Hammer, we're going to go with you to drop the mic. Give something to the people. Let them know what's going down as we drop the mic here.
Well, I'm gonna give this to Chicago's perspective. Sometimes y'all told me that I've dropped the mic in a negative mindset. We got a positive mindset, man. I'm so happy on January 10th at about 9 in the morning. All of our fans in Chicago got what we wanted. And 2, we got rid of one of the most incompetent head coaches in our history and one of the most incompetent GMs in our history. And we got a chance to start over. And again, they have families. They're going to do fine. Ryan Pace is going to be the number 2. Matt Nagy go back to being an OC. That's what they are anyway. They showed that. They were good opportunities. They are number 2s. They're not number 1s. We need number 1s in Chicago. We need number 1s like Justin Fields, who is number 1. We need number 1s like David Montgomery. We need number 1s like Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn. And we need number 1s like Brian Flores and Louis Riddick to get us back. And we need to get the McCaskies to understand that they might be number 1 as far as being owners, but they need to be number 2 as far as letting the football people do what they need to do. Let Bill Polian do what he needs to do, because our patience is running thin in the Windy City. We are tired of seeing games like Cleveland where they are national debacles, where on Monday on ESPN, they are laughing at our city and how incompetent we are because of the family that owns the club. So I give them credit. They did the right thing, because we were angry in Chicago. All the trial balloons were like, Ryan Pace is going to become football operations. Football operations for what? What does that mean? And so they did the right thing. Let's do the right thing now. Let's hire Brian Flores, a guy who was a true leader, a guy that's going to inspire us, and a guy that's going to have a run-first mentality and be able to maximize Justin Fields and defense. Let's hire Louis Riddick, who's one of the best minds of the game, who deserves a chance to run a ball club. And let's get back to being the monsters of the Midway, not the raggedy bears of the Midway. Drop the mic.
All right, youngin, what you want to say to the people?
All right. In my drop the mic segment, I'm going to talk about one Andrew Thomas. This guy is shown the epitome of growth. And hey, this is a guy who, in his rookie season, admittedly, he did not perform. He did not play well. He was injured at times, but yeah, he did not perform well in his first season. But and now today that his sophomore season has ended, he has had a very good bounce back season. Last year, he had a PFF grade of only 50, I think it was 59, 58, 59. And this year, he shot all the way up to 78.4, and just for perspective, that is above what Penei Sewell did this year. That was above what Mekhi Becton has done while he was healthy. Um, Andrew Thomas has shown that he's going to be a solid to good tackle for years to come for that Giants team, and one of the better young tackles in the league. And it's just goes to show that if first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. Drop the mic.
Try again. I just wanted, this weekend we talked about the timeout gate. And at the end of the day, it's good to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. It's good to watch them battle. I know they're up against a major task, and there you're going against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. But Mike Tomlin in a sports world that gives you what we talked about with Booker and Cats acting crazy. Mike Tomlin is the same OG. Mike Tomlin is a guy that continues to get it going. I know he's probably gonna have a new GM coming up, but I just feel good that I'll be able to see my Steelers play one more week, and for that I love it. Until next time, thank you for joining us here on One Mic. For my boy Darnell, the youngin', and my man Hammer, we gonna see y'all on the other side. Peoples.
Yes, today. As we start the show, this One Mic. We hail. And boom, there is a pause throughout the stadium as this man sounds like he just coughs up a lung. Just looking around, the Jumbotron shows and pans the cheerleaders, and as it goes down each cheerleader's face, each one breaks up into laughter, which at this particular time destroys half the stadium. The other half is still trying to figure out what the hell just happened. Does this guy need CPR or something? And then at that particular time, I lost it. Devon dropped. Yes, today.
Dawg Radio.
This show, this One Mic.
Phoenix is another place. They got a great training staff. They were able to breathe life back into Shaq. And you can do that. People talk a lot about their training staff.
Dawg.
Yes,